back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut up.
you know, I could have pushed it a little, wider, but
And of course, you for all that you're doing. I'm sorry we had to put you through a Pocono race, but you're a trooper.
Sorry, you made me laugh there. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's alright. Sanchez and the 21 of Brian Chambliss, they're battling for 7th and 8th. Kyle Kraus wants to get in on the action here as well. Kyle Kraus to the inside. Oh, Sanchez in the fence. And Sanchez has just lost out big time in the fence. And he's going to be in the middle of the track as the rest of the pack catches him. He'll want to try and get back up to speed very quickly. He's also going to be at risk. As long as nothing happens on this final lap, it's definitely going to be the 72 of Joshua Durham. Alright guys, with all that information, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to have some driver interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway. Welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. and welcome to the Autism Awareness 150 right here at the Homestead Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. I am your commentator, the Aussie Sim Commentator, and I do believe our drivers here in the Output Racing League are just about to get ready for a pit party. So let's see if we can get down here and have a look at some of the guys. Thomas Harmon coming into the pits, and everyone else is literally in the pit lane right now. As you can see, a little bit of road rage on the pit lane there. There's a two of Chris Champeau showing off a new livery, the four of Jaron Sanchez. Sounds like a little bit more road rage going on as people are coming out of the pit lane. And my apologies if you guys hear anything in the background. My missus is unmedicated today. See the drivers getting ready to get going here for their pit party. Just rolling out of turn 4 right now. The 76 of Mark Axelson was back in action as they're off and racing for the pit party. A little bit of contact already being made. See Kyle Kraus running a new livery here tonight as well. He's running a 6-pack inspired livery. Thomas Salmon still running that Boronel 38. We're going to do a quick paints refresh here, make sure everyone's running the right paint. As Mark Axelson's had a bother coming out of turn 4. A little bit loose there. It's very easy to do here at Homestead, Miami. Oh, and that was a touch between Pizzakemi and Isaacson. And into the inside wall went Pizzakemi. Isaacson managing to evade that. But the pit party continues on. Everyone on the front stretch. Well, Sanchez tapping the wall coming out of turn 2. That spooked the crap out of Thomas Harmon. Oh. Around goes the 60 of Kraus, and I think that was the 88 of Hernandez as well. Masia caught up in it. Someone else that's down there caught up in it. And currently have 17 cars registered for this race. 18 people in the server altogether, which does include myself. The strength of the field is a 28.62. Not too bad at all. And Frank's actually doing really well to stay in with these guys here. This little pack, you got the 2 of Chris Champeau, got 23 John Lazelle, 38 Thomas Harmon, and the 24 of Frank Isaacson. Side by side goes Frank and Thomas. It's not very often we see Frank fighting Thomas, but Frank gets loose out of turn 4. I know this is just practice, but these guys are laying it all out on the line already. They want to test the limits of these cars and see where they can and cannot push. Oh, and around goes the 39 of James Watson. See, Thomas is well and truly pulled away from Frank here. Frank back now fighting with Kevin Campbell as Thomas Harmon's fighting Chris Champeau. Before Jaron Sanchez makes his way back onto the track as well. The current standings is Thomas Harmon on the top with a 32.528. That's Christian Budd, Matt Horton, Brian Pizzakemi, Kyle Kraus, John Lozelle, Brian Chambliss, Chris Champeau, Travis Masia, and Jonathan Hernandez wrapping up the top 10. Currently looking at Jonas Marquez. Now we're not. Now we're looking at Frank. Frank actually in P11 right now, as he's right on the tail of the 2 of Chris Champeau, who's coming in for a pit entry practice. One of the more difficult pit entries that we have on the calendar, actually. Oh, sideways is the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Just missed the inside wall and pit straight. Now, the starts and restarts for these guys is definitely going to be really important for these guys to get right. These things on cold tires are really tail happy. I don't think anyone truly knows what a long run is going to feel like in these cars. Frank's made his way back to the back of Thomas Harmon. These guys going to duke it out once more. Now looking at the 4, Jaron Sanchez, who is now currently P11. Ken Campbell on his tail just in front of them. Frank trying to make a pass on Thomas. Look at these guys starting to pack up a little bit here. They're all on different tire strategies. They're all coming together in a bit of a pack. Here comes Jaron up underneath Frank. And now Christian Budd making it 3 wide. Jaron half backed out of it, then got back into it. Seems that outside line is not really existent with these cars. And Jaron got into the wall again. Looks like Thomas's tyres are starting to go off compared to everyone else around him. Thomas currently on a 20-lap stint on those tyres. Frank's got 16 laps on his. Darren only 9. Ken Campbell. Ken Campbell has 11. And Christian Budd on 7-lap-old tyres. And Christian Budd actually taking the top spot now. A 32.5 flat. 32,500, in other words. Just 0.028 of a second faster than Thomas Harmon. Oh, we've even got the static cameras working here tonight, so let's do a preemptive crank it up just to hear some of these magical cars as they're going around the track. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. A bit of IRL stuff coming up then. You see Jonathan Hernandez trying to fight it out with Kyle Kraus. I can hear Kyle getting loose. And Kyle just slamming the inside wall with his left side. Oh, Frank smacking the outside wall, turn 2. It's Chris Champo, who's currently live right now. Watching this on Twitch. He's live right now, twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars. Watching this on YouTube, still go check him out. You never know, he might be live. He is normally more of a morning streamer though. There's Jonathan Hernandez and Chris Champo. Look at Christian Budd running that highline. Like it wasn't phasing him at all. Christian Budd just knows where to place his car no matter where he is. Oh, a big mischief there for Christian Budd and Mark Bentekoff. Still Chris Champeau battling out with Ken Campbell. The top of the timetables hasn't really changed. Top 5 is Bud, Harmon, Horton, Pizzacchemi, and Champeau. And this should be a pretty interesting race. There's a lot of unknowns in this, like will the high line actually work? Will the low line be dominant? Will they actually get pack racing? These are all questions that we don't know the answers to just yet. All I know is that there's just under 2 minutes left in, well, just over 2 minutes left in the practice, so soon qualifying will be a thing. Look at these guys just getting all packed up right before the end of practice. It'll be great practice for them. Things going wrong there for Mark coming out of the pits. There's Thomas and Frank. So Frank experimenting with some alternate dimensions there, trying to gain an advantage. But with now 45 seconds left in the session, we are going to be going to a commercial break for qualifying. When we come back, we're going to see how the grid order is going to be set. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action here from the Autism Awareness 150 at the Homestead Miami Speedway coming up soon. Welcome back to the Homestead Miami Speedway. Welcome back to the Autism Awareness 150 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And as no surprises will ever go unturned, Christian Budd will be starting off the pole. On his outside will be the 33 of Matt Horton. Starting the inside of row number 2 will be the 23 of John Lizelle. P4 will be the 60 car of Carl Kraus. P5 will be the 2 car of Chris Champeau. P6 will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P7 will be the 39 of James Watson. P8 will be the 13 of Travis Mascio. P9, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. And wrapping up the top 10 will be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. We're going to have the 76 of Mark Axelson in 11th. And Thomas Harmon in 12th. Frank Isaacson out of 13th. And Mark Pentacup out of 14th. Those guys are the cutoff for the Hard Charger Award. And it's Ken Campbell, Brian Pizzakemi, and Jonas Marquez in 15th, 16th, and 17th, respectively. 100 laps here of this mile-and-a-half circuit. Traditional mile-and-a-half circuit. And it should be an absolutely interesting race. Everyone should remember, first start is on green. All the subsequent restarts will be on the leader. And we all know that that 50 car, Mr. Christian Budd, wants to lead all of the laps. There you go, coming out of turn 4, the pace car turns in.
Go, go, go.
We're off and racing here for the Autism Awareness 150, right here, live and exclusive from the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And already you see one car at the very back there dropping down to the back of the pack. Christian Budd already taking the lead. He's trying to take John Lizelle with him on the inside line. And John gets cleared of Matt Horton. Okay, Matt Horton back to third. Two of Chris Champeau battles out side by side for the 60 of Carl Kraus. The Jonathan Hernandez is behind these two, biding his time. Okay, who's someone who's not biding their time? The 38 of Thomas Harmon. Just made it 3 wide with James Watson, and I think that was Brian Chambliss as well. He's chasing on the tail of Jaron Sanchez. Looks like for the most part things are all single piled out here. There's some differing lines being taken in the corners, but that's about it. Oh, and we've got the big one. Not sure who was involved in that one. See if we can, the 88's involved. See if we can see what happens here. This is coming through turn 4. Oh, I went back a little bit too far. Now we're coming out of turn 4. Oh, you see, it all started in front of these guys. A little bit of a tap from the 2 of Chris Champeau on the back of the 60 of Carl Kraus. He tried to save it, just could not get a handle on it, comes spearing straight up the track and into the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Thomas Harmon very lucky to scrape through that with just a little bit of fender damage. See Jonathan going down to the inside of the track. He's going to clip Matt Horton and the 13 of Travis Massier. Could see someone spinning behind Thomas as well. Not sure who that was. Thomas kept on going here. Say maybe that last car was possibly James Watson. With that, we have our first caution of the day. Means we're also going to go to our first official caution of the race. With Christian Budd in the lead. How long will he be able to keep it? Who knows? Make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, we had to cut that advert a little bit short. Everyone's getting ready to get going again. Christian Budd leading away from John Lazelle. Travis Massier and Jaron Sanchez on the second row. Brian Chambliss and Mark Pentecoff on the third. Pace car is in. We're going
Green
on
flag.
Christian Budd, and we're going to crank it up. Alrighty, we're back now. Crank it up is over. Christian Budd still leading the way. A little bit of side-by-side battling going on just behind these guys a little bit. And a 13 Travis Massier and a 21 of Brian Chambliss. Chambliss trying to make that inside work on Massier. The 2 Chris Champeau trying to get up in there as well. Means there's not enough momentum on the outside line for Travis to really get a decent run. Yeah, Thomas Harmon trying to carve his way through the field as well, all the way up to P7. Thomas had to come into the pits and get some repairs done. A couple of drivers entered the chat talking about it a little bit. Looks like we're going all single filed out again. Big move with Brian Chambliss getting around Jaron Sanchez. They'll move him up into the 3rd position. Everybody's wheeling and dealing and trying to get through this race. Angry Field and NASCAR Next Gen Cup cars got assembled here on this track. Looks like there's just not terribly much action going on around the track at the moment. Christian Budd's still leading away from Chambliss now and Lozelle. And Jaron Sanchez has gone around. Not sure who that is involved with him. The 23, John Lozelle. Someone else was a late comer into this crash as well. Find out what happened to Sanchez coming out of turn 2. Like he might have just gotten loose and entered Lozelle. Lozelle decided to finish him off in the wall. Oh, this motherfucker was so unlucky that he ran into him. We're going to go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be continuing on with the racing, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Autism Awareness 150 here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. As you see, we're under our second caution of the day. Everyone has just pitted, so everyone's on some fresh tyres. Christian Budd leading the way from Chris Champeau, Brian Chambliss in third, Thomas Harmon fourth, Jonas Marquez in fifth, Frank Isaacson P6, Mark Axelson 7, James Watson 8th, Travis Massey 9th, and John Lozelle in 10th. Looks like everyone's starting to get lined up now as we're on 1 to green. And I think I need to do one of these ones because we're very, very behind. Got to do that when we stopped looking at the replay. All right, here we go. Getting the green this time. Remember, the restarts are on the leader, so Christian Budd controls when the rest of the field gets to go. We're often racing early.
Go. Green flag.
Great jump there for Christian Budd. And Thomas Harmon trying to push the two of Chris Champeau along. Look at that lead that Christian Budd already has. Incredible. See Chris Champeau trying to take that draft and use it to his advantage. Thomas Harmon has now also moved up into third. I think for the most part everyone has single filed out because there's only 9 cars left on the lead lap. But we only have the 9 left on the lead lap. Yeah, everything's definitely single filed out right now. The action is quite subdued. Looks like Christian Budd just can't quite get away from these 3 now. They're right on his tail. So they got all lined up and packed up together. Now they're going to try and have a run at the big dog. Here comes Thomas Harmon now to the inside of Chris Champeau, thinking that he can do a better job drafting to the lead than Chris can. But that just hurt them a little bit. The 21 of Brian Chambers has now just moved back up into third. Getting overtaken by Thomas earlier. We're not even halfway yet. We have 3 spare sets of tyres for this race, so they could effectively cut this race down into 4 quarters. Chris Champo is still right on the tail of the leader. And Christian Budd. It's a little bit sad to see so many cars down in the pits. Especially since everyone's starting to catch up to Ken Campbell, who will be going a lap down for the multiple time. As Ken wisely decides to just get on the apron and let everyone pass. These 4 still just all sitting here in the line. Oh, we should be nearing closer to the halfway point now. It should only be about 14 laps away from it. Still been no real change in the order at all. Spud from Champo, Chambliss, Harmon, Isaacson, Marquez, Masia, Axelson, and Watson as your top 9. Mazel, Sanchez, and Pentecoff for 10th, 11th, and 12th in the pits. They're all 16 laps down. Made that 17 laps down, and we have a challenge for the lead. 2 of Chris Champo trying to get up on the inside. The 50 of Christian Budd. Not going to work out for him this time. In fact, he might end up losing one to Chambliss, who's trying to sneak his way up into the 2nd position. And what's going on with Chris Champo? Oh, he must have gotten loose coming out of turn 4. It's just ruined all of his momentum. Now he's dropped all the way down to 4th. Thomas Harmon finding himself back in 3rd. Wants to try and find a way around Brian Chambliss so he can have a crack at Christian Budd himself. Looks like we're looking at some action further back in the pack. This is a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Marquez, Isaacson, and Masia. Looks like Frank's the one who's going to get shuffled back to 6th, as this battle still rages on for 2nd. And Christian Budd not actually in the clear at the moment. Still only a 7/10 of a second gap between himself and Chambliss. And it looks like Harmon is going for the move now. Thomas Harmon well and truly in 2nd place now, and he's trying to chase down Christian Budd in the lead. He didn't actually lose any time making that move either. Chambliss, on the other hand, lost out pretty big. Oh, as Harmon gets loose this time coming out of turn 4. That has extended the gap and brought Chambliss back into it. Harmon's going to have a hard time trying to find Christian Budd's draft now. As we're just 3 laps away from the halfway point. I'm not sure how much fuel is going to be a factor in this now, considering when everyone went for their pit stop, it was right around lap 22. James Watson, in theory, would be the most well-off driver with his pit stop on lap 24, as Thomas Harmon's getting loose again coming out of turn 4. That's going to open the door right back up for Chambliss to get around him. Juice up too much of that right rear has Harmon. Normally the cool, calm, collected driver, not wanting to get himself all messed up like that. Side by side they go. It's the battle for 2nd as we finally reach the halfway point. 50 down, 50 to go. Harmon prevails so far. See if he can continue that going. Looks like Chambliss actually really struggled on that slightly higher side. trying to build up the momentum, and it didn't quite work out for him. These guys are now 2.5 seconds adrift of Christian Budd in the lead. So we're going to take this advantage of having a little bit of a lull in action to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be waiting and hoping for green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Welcome back to the Autism Awareness 150 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway. We're just looking at our second place driver, Thomas Harmon, who has been continuing to hold off the charges set by Brian Chambliss. And there has been a slight change in the order. 10th place is now Brian Pizzicami and 11th is Ken Campbell. After their earlier incidents. Thomas getting very close to that wall coming out of turn 4. I think he might be struggling for front end grip here a little bit. Saying that, he has only lost a couple tenths to Christian Budd leading the way. We're now working lap 59, a 41.5 laps left to run. It looks like our leader, Christian Budd, finally hitting some lap traffic. First car on his list is going to be Ken Campbell in the 15. It's going to put him 20 laps down in the race. And he makes that pass very easily. And Campbell very smartly moves to the outside lane to allow him through. And it looks like we've got pit stops underway to 21 of Chambliss. First one to blink. There we go. No one else pitted with him, but I can't see what their number is at the moment. And that might have been the two of Chris Champeau, actually. This is 13 of Travis Massia. The space all on his own here. If you don't count Chris Champeau, who's just come out of the pits on his fresh tyres. So even if you pit and go a lap down here, still guaranteed a top 10 as long as you don't crash. In fact, you could be up to 17 laps down. Christian Budd has been in and out of the pits. And looks like Brian Chambliss is going to be right on him. The undercut might have been a genius stroke. Looks like Christian Budd got right back around Brian, but this battle is still far from over. Thomas Harmer's still out there leading the way, trying to get as many laps led as he can. Now looking at Jose Marquez, who's currently down in the 9th position. Now we're looking at Travis Massia in 5th. Currently only 6 cars on the lead lap. This might be one of those races that's a little bit of a snooze fest just because of how quickly a lot of the field was taken out. I think we're going to go for a quick commercial break. Actually, no, we're not. There's only 6 laps to go. Let's say we'll go to a commercial break before we go all the way to the end here. 5 laps to go now. There's our leader, Christian Budd, just tearing it up here. He even has a 6-second lead over Brian Chambliss. And only falling asleep behind the wheel would stop him from here, one would think. Something that I've done plenty of times throughout this broadcast alone. No, that's not me calling this league or these drivers boring. It's just circumstances have made this become a bit of a drag on a race. And I didn't sleep last night. Starts his penultimate lap. 2 to go. What can he do? Oh. He's experimenting with alternate dimensions this late in a race. Normally it's meant to be the Pocono races that drag out like this. This one seems to take the cake. As now it's white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Christian Budd. You can tell he's just in cruise control mode right now. He knows he has this easily won. Goes through to turn 3 and 4 for the final time. Your winner here at Homestead Miami Speedway for the Autism Awareness 150 is going to be the 50 of Christian Budd. P2 is going to go the way of Brian Chambliss, and P3 the way of Thomas Harmon. We see Christian on the cool down lap here, getting ready to go do a burnout. There we go. We're going to go for a quick break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, welcome back, and it's time for driver interviews. We're kicking things off with our Hard Charger Award winner, and today's Hard Charger is also our third place getter here today, as of course the one, the only, Mr. Thomas Harmon in the 38 car. Thomas, a little bit of action early with a couple of quick cautions, but then the race just kind of strung out with the low car count that was left in the race.
Yeah, uh, was really hoping for a caution towards the end of that to make it interesting, but that never came. The action early definitely took out a lot of cars and made it, I'm sure, a snooze fest for you and the fans.
Well, the unfortunate thing for me is that I didn't sleep much last night, so the broadcast is probably going to be a bit, how's it going as well? Because pretty sure I might have dozed off a little bit. But how was the racing, mate? Like, how did the car handle over the race distance at the Homestead track here?
It felt fine, but it was got snappy loose. I don't know if that was a result of the damage I got in that first wreck or if it just that's how it handled. But towards the end of after about 15, 20 laps, my car would want to snap out on me, particularly out of four, and made it hard to keep questioning my sights at that point.
Now, let's look forward towards next week. We are going to be going to Talladega Speedway. Actually, no, I think that one's been changed. I forgot what we changed it to. Um, but
I
that
don't
one,
remember. I know it got changed, but we're not going there. We're not going to Dega.
but yeah, are you just going to be happy to get back to a different race where we're going to have, cars on track again?
It would be nice not to have a draft fest, but I think that's what we're stuck with these cars.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Just having a quick look through. I think we actually made the decision to Go to somewhere like the other mile and a half tracks that will drive a bit like a super speedway.
Be what, Vegas, wasn't it?
I think it was
Kansas, one or
Vegas.
the other.
Yeah, it was indeed Vegas. There we go. So how do you feel as we're going to go head into Vegas next week?
Uh, it's going to be interesting trying to learn the car there, but I think I'll be all right. Hoping to make it into the playoffs, but it's going to be a close one.
All right, mate. Before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting to everybody, all the drivers, fans, and I think that's it for tonight. Still no
All
armor on
right.
the car yet. Still working on that deal.
No worries. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Even though it did get a bit boring there, thank you for coming out each and every single week, and gaining those points for the all important 3 race chase.
Yeah, hopefully I can make it. Like I said, we'll see. It'll be close.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Thomas, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right, guys. That was our third place getter and our hard charger award winner, the 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Coming up next, we are going to have our second place getter. And today's second place goes to the one, the only, the Mr. Brian Chambliss in the 21 car. Brian, it looked like you and Thomas had a little bit of a battle there towards the mid stages of the race, but then it kind of died off a little bit as Thomas kept getting a little bit snappy loose.
Yeah, I don't know. Car's just hard to figure out and strange to drive, but it just, it was just a matter of who didn't really get loose because it was about really the only way you kind of wanted to pass anybody because you were kind of penalized if you were racing somebody and stepped out of line a little bit. It just killed all the momentum and, whatever car was in front was able to pull away. So, I mean, that was kind of it. Once Thomas got to my inside there at the mid part of the race, I just kind of let him have it because I was like, if we're just going to run side by side, we're just going to lose even more time to Christian. So if there was any shot, then we just needed to get single file line and either push each other or, try to figure something out. But it wasn't working.
It looked like you guys were, when you were working together, got very close to sticking with Christian there. What was it like working with Thomas before, he started losing all that momentum with the sliding?
Yeah, I mean, I was just, like I said, stepping out of line and trying to pass somebody. It almost penalizes not only you, but the other guy too, because you just lose so much time to the guy in front. So we were, even with him being a little loose, until he got real loose and ended up way down the line there, I was just going to try to stay behind him because anytime you get side by side, you just lose so much time. It wasn't really worth passing there, but I mean, we did stick with him there for a little bit, but you know, Christian is Christian, and he's pretty darn good. So it's the things for a lot of the rest of us. We got to get better or be perfect to be there. But that's credit to him, and the rest of us got to catch up.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, mate. We'll be going to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What's the feeling like for you heading into Las Vegas, replacing the Talladega Super Speedway?
Well, I am ecstatic, over the moon, whatever analogy you want to use about not going to any super speedway races in this car. But I think it's going to be a lot like we saw early in the season at Chicago. Kind of the same racing we saw there. It's near identical tracks. So I think if you get some guys that get in line and go, then those are guys that are going to pull away, and I think it'll be pit road will be extremely important, and track position early in the race will be key.
All right, Brian, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jaron and the rest of the admins. I appreciate the work they do. I know a lot of us drivers give them guys some grief and some hard times about some things, but they're doing their best, and I think we see that and we appreciate it. So I like to thank those guys, and I thank you for broadcasting, and thank my family for letting me do this on Tuesday nights. Other than that, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Brian. We appreciate your attendance each and every single week. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Las Vegas.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, guys, that was our second place getter here tonight. The one, the only, the Brian Chambliss. Coming up next, we are going to have our winner of tonight's race. And it's really no surprise that he's come away with the win. He's just oh so dominant each and every single time he hits the track. We're, of course, talking to the 50 car of Mr. Christian Bud. Christian, uh, bit of a boring race for you out there tonight. The early instance really thinned out the field quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a slog for sure. Um, when I guess what makes these cars exciting would be the pack, and if the pack is no longer there, then you're going to get what you saw, which was probably not too exciting.
Yeah, I kind of likened it to the old Pocono races that we used to have, where the field just strung out and there wasn't really too much going on.
Yeah, I mean, basically, uh, with the way it was going to be, and I mean, I guess we kind of were within a half a second there for a period of time, but the way the tires were and everything, the guy would get a little loose and get separated. And once you broke the draft, then it was a little more traditional, could drive away.
But now let's look forward to next week, man. Going to be going to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, replacing the Talladega Super Speedway. So, what's the thoughts for yourself heading into Las Vegas for next week?
Um, it's probably going to be similar to this. It is what it is, but I'll be happy when we're done with these things. They're just not very fun to drive, and we were all kind of talking about it in there, and they have some weird characteristics with the tire. You probably saw a few guys get loose, and the difference is you get loose with these cars, and they're really hard to save, which is fine. It adds a difficulty factor to it, but um, it also puts you in a position as a driver where you just basically just can't be as aggressive, and you can't drive right on the edge like you can with the other cars. And so you see a guy get a little loose, and he's losing a ton of time when it happens. So I'll like I said, I'll just kind of be happier when we're driving something else, just because that's just what these cars are, and that's what they're going to give. And at least the short tracks seemed a little bit better, like when we ran Five Flags and stuff. It's better. But with these mile and a halves and stuff, it's just kind of what it is.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out each and every single week, man. But before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Output Racing. All the guys showed up. Feel bad for those guys who showed up and got wrecked early. It sucks when that get an early crash like that and takes you out. But still, thanks everybody for coming out, and then of course Jaron for putting on the league for us. All the admin team, they got a pretty tough job, so never discount the amount of work that's going on behind the scenes. And of course, the Aussie Sim commentator who had to sit through a Pocono clone race.
Well, that's what we'll call it, because it definitely felt like it.
We'll try
Uh,
and do better next week.
oh, I have no doubt next week will be a lot better. If memory serves me correct, Chicago was actually not a bad race. So I'm personally looking forward to it a lot. But thank you very much for coming out, Christian. It's great having you coming out each and every single week. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Las Vegas.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, so that was today's winner, the 50 car of Mr. Christian Bud. So that is going to end off our broadcast. I'm sorry it wasn't very exciting, but so many guys got crashed out early, and I'm pretty sure I dozed off somewhere towards the middle. So when we go to Las Vegas next week, hopefully I'll be more awake, more alert, and hopefully we can have some much better racing. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and we'll see you next week.